Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hello, welcome into the Oddity Shop. I am your curator, Zach, sitting here with the other lovely curator of the Oddity Shop, Kara. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have an eyelash in my eye, but we're just going to power through. We've already had some difficulties and we just need to keep going.
I think you will survive. Anyways, for anybody who's new here, this is the Oddity Shop. So we are sharing with you our oddities of creepy, strange, odd, bizarre stories from around the world. And we can't wait to share it with you. So with that being said, other than an eyelash in your eye, what the hell is new with you?
Well, I re-downloaded Audible, which has been wonderful. And so here's the thing. I really wanted to read a particular book. I knew I just don't have time. I have so many books. We've bought so many books. And I know I need to read them and I want to, but I don't have time. So I re-downloaded Audible. And so I downloaded, it's called Grimoire Girl. And it's from a Hilary Burton Morgan. And if you guys all know, I'm obsessed with One Tree Hill. So she is one of the actresses on there, but it's an incredible book. It's so awesome. So I highly recommend. And she just gives like witchy tips and then just kind of goes through her life. And like, I don't know, it's just like really awesome. Like there's this one part where she's talking about how everybody should make their own oracle deck. And basically you should just make it from like your inspiration, your quotes, people that you look up to, and just make them all on cards. And like, as your life progresses, you keep adding like your inspirations and like all this kind of stuff, because what better way to have an oracle deck is if it's for you. I'm like, that's so
I like that.
cool.
Like making it really,
I know.
Because then you're putting your own intention and your own energy into it as you go. Ooh.
Wouldn't that be fun? We should have a oracle deck making night.
Oh my gosh. Can we have wine?
What kind of question is that?
Okay. Stupid one. I know.
So that's that. And I'm really excited. So now I'm like, oh, what other books can I download? Because like, you know, I drive 2 hours every day to work back and forth. So I have so many podcasts, but I'm kind of getting like, meh.
I got a couple book recommendations for you. I'll see if I can share some of the ones I have now that you have Audible.
Oh, I can share. Well, I don't know if you would want to listen to this one. It's good, but I don't know if I don't know, but I'll share it with you.
I got a few you might like. I'll see if I can share some with you.
Okay.
Well, while you were reading, I spent all last weekend. So I had a 3-day weekend. And I was going to be really productive and like get my yard work and stuff done before I went over to Nick's for the weekend. But I bought a bunch more rocks and I cannot stop. I got like 4 or 5 new crystals. And then I was at the crystal store and I noticed like the restaurant that used to be down the street was a new restaurant and they were all talking about it. I'm like, oh, is it good? It's a Mexican restaurant. So I took myself on like a little lunch date and bought some rocks and it was super nice and unproductive. But sometimes you just need that.
Rocks and Mexican food.
Rocks and Mexican food. Do you need anything else?
No, really, no.
Should we take a quick second before we get to your question to tell our listeners about the email we got?
I think that we should.
I think we're going to leave out some of the details of it. But for anyone who listened to episode 58 on Duffy's Cut, that was the railroad workers who were supposedly killed by cholera. And in case you haven't listened, I'm not going to say too much more other than a group of students ends up looking into it and rewrites history and gives everything a new spin. And last night, I think me and Kara just about pissed our own pants when one of those students...
I started crying.
I'm sure you did. One of those students, though, actually reached out in an email, gave us some more details of what went on there. And first of all, it was the first time we got email like that. That wasn't hate mail. He did tell us we were well-researched, which I was surprised by. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. It was your episode, but...
Well, still, it's just one of those things like you and I spiral probably every 2 weeks about like giving people wrong information and doing the wrong thing. And should we be doing this and blah, 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 blah. And that, I feel like that was like really good validation.
It was good validation. And he also added to the story.
He did.
So we might be hearing some of Bob's stories in the near future. Just throwing that out there, not making any promises on what that's going to look like, but we might have some updates on Duffy's Cut for you guys if you like that episode.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm excited too.
Again, I cried, so.
It doesn't take much, let's be honest, but
well, you know.
All right, that's all I've got for you. Nice and easy one this week. Do you have a question for me?
I do. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, guys, I have a whole new setup going on here, and I don't know how it's going to go, so I apologize. All right.
Kara's finally moving up in the tech world. We got her
It's
off
not,
her iPad.
I actually moved down because my iPad is newer than this. So I moved down, but you made me. And now I'm looking, I am all over the place and I don't know what's going on, but it's okay. So
it's going to get better.
The question is, oh, sorry. And this I also got from that book. So I'm like, ooh, I got to write this down. And then I'm like, I'm just going to ask you this week. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What would your ghost outfit be?
Ooh.
Right? So
is it like you can only wear one for eternity?
Yeah, it's your ghost outfit.
Oh, man.
That's just what you're always seen in.
All right. We're going to start with like some like flat sneakers, not quite Vans because I feel like I'm too old for those anymore, but like an adult version of Vans, but still no arch support. Okay.
You could get the comfort cush ones.
Well, I mean, I'll be gliding most places at that point.
Yeah,
so I don't know
it
if
doesn't even matter.
Then we're going to go for like a 9 or 10 inch inseam short because I hate wearing pants.
Okay.
We're going to go with like a cream colored short. That was kind of my look of the summer.
Yeah, it was.
A nice Hawaiian button down. Nothing too busy, just the right amount of like splash.
Okay.
Maybe a little necklace, a little amulet that I got at the Ren Fair, my little protection. Mm-hmm. And then my hair, probably the same way it's been for the last 20 years.
Okay, so khaki shorts or tan shorts and
not khaki.
Okay.
Cream, off-white.
Cream shorts and a Hawaiian button-up short sleeve.
Oh yeah, obviously short sleeve. Something breathable too, because I'm sure I'll still be a sweaty ghost. It'll just be ectoplasm instead.
Ew. Okay, well that tracks. That's exactly what I thought you were gonna pick.
What's your ghosty outfit?
I don't know, something all black. Hello.
That makes sense. You're just gonna be a shadow figure.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, before you get into it, we're going to start opening our questions up to you. So not only do we want to hear your creepy stories, we also want to know what your ghost outfits are. So hit us up on social media, email us, whatever. We want to know your ghost outfits, and you might get a shout out in a future episode.
I like it.
I'm trying new things without telling Kara. Okay, now you can start.
Tonight, whenever this is vibrating into your ear holes, we're talking about mediums.
Ooh.
I love how
I'm down for it.
I was waiting for the smoke to come out of your mouth for you to respond. I just saw e-cig smoke, and then you're like, ooh.
You can't talk through it, all right? There's a little delay.
All right. So we've touched on this a bit in different types of ways in like some episodes, but I thought we kind of needed a deep dive.
Do you know I'm a medium?
Medium what?
Well, I mean, I'm probably like 10 or 12 cheeseburgers away from a large.
Mm-hmm.
But currently I can still fit in a medium. I'm so sorry. My dad right now is very proud of me.
Probably. All right. So my call to action is for any medium listeners or if people know mediums to like write in and describe like how you identify as a medium, not your clothing size. Please. I mean, you kind of
unless you want to add that in.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so that's my call to action this week. On top of your ghost outfit, that's a good one too. Okay, what are mediums? So everyone most likely has a different thought. What would yours be?
It would be somebody who has some sort of ESPN or something. But no, seriously, like some sort of
Mean Girls
ability.
Did you just say ESPN?
I did. I did throw a little Mean Girls in there. But it's somebody who can tap into whether it's seeing, hearing, smelling. They're just something what the rest of us can't really see or perceive. And I don't think it's always spirits.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in my head, I just generally just think that they can like talk to dead people.
You think like Long Island medium?
Yeah, that's literally like what I like. Oh, I hear medium. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Obviously, we know that there's more detail than that. So let's kind of get into it.
Let's do it.
A medium is any person who channels energy and brings that energy through to the physical plane. If you look up the definition of medium as an adjective, it's explained as about halfway between extremes as of a degree, amount, quality, position, or size. As a noun, it's a middle state or condition, the material or technique with which an artist works, or one of the means or channels of a general communication, information, or entertainment in society, as newspapers, radio, or television, or a person through whom the spirits of the dead are alleged to be able to contact. Your face, you're just like...
I was taking it all in because when I think about it, right, medium, like, okay, if you're painting, right, the canvas is your medium of which you're painting on. So I always thought like the medium was kind of like not a canvas per se, but it's the tool that allows you to get your message across. But then I started thinking about it a little bit differently from the way you said, like the medium at the beginning is like kind of between two things. So does it not just mean the medium is like the tool or of communication, or is it like they're halfway between living and dead?
Right. So I put the next line that I put is like, to me, you can break down each version of those definitions and make it fit to talking with the dead.
Oh,
so obviously the last definition says that. But if you look at it as an adjective, halfway between extremes, I would say is life and death. Those are two extremes, and a medium would be halfway.
See, that's why you kind of got that blank stare from me, because I was trying to put it into words exactly what you had next.
And then as a noun, the middle state, like I'd say like talking the dead is kind of the middle state and channels of general communication. So it kind of all makes sense. Now, of course, as we know, we're not all the same. So of course, neither are mediums. There is way more information than I thought. And I highly, highly recommend you guys going through the show notes and visiting all the sites I used, because there is so much more great information and understanding. There's just a lot. I'm going to break down each mediumship in category and then kind of like what branches off from those as best as I possibly can.
I'm excited.
Okay. So there is evidential mediumship, which I've never heard it called that. Have you?
I've never heard that phrase in my life.
That is considered more of like your psychic medium. So this is providing evidence to clients that their past loved ones continue on, like using key terms and memories only your loved one would know. So it's evident.
Kind of your run of the mill.
Yeah, but I've never heard it described as that.
What was the word again?
Evidential mediumship.
Okay.
Psychic
Makes
medium.
sense.
Then there's animal communicators. And this is simply someone that's able to communicate with both living and past animals. My dream job.
Okay, Eliza Thornberry.
I would be thrilled. Wouldn't you be so happy?
That would be actually really cool. I would almost prefer that over being able to talk to humans, dead or alive. Not like, well, okay, let me clarify.
Yeah,
dead humans. I think I'd pick talking to live humans over animals, because then I'd just look like a crazy person.
I met a new dog today. His name is Uno.
I can't tell if you're saying like that's what the medium would say, or if you actually met a dog named Uno.
Oh, no. My neighbor, moved. Well, but for those that don't know, Deb, she moved. I met the new neighbor today, and she has like a golden doodle named Uno. And he was really cute. Okay, moving on. So then there's trance mediumship, which is kind of like oracles. It's kind of considered a trance mediumship. So passing along messages from beyond while being in a trance state. Using the medium's body as a channel, they can usually remain conscious using their mind to exchange the information.
So that would be more like your spirit box or automatic writing sessions.
That's kind of what I was getting, because I'm like, because first off, when I think you're in a trance, when I'm thinking of you're in a trance state, I don't think of you being conscious, but obviously you are. That's like...
I think that's just kind of like the pop culture version, though, of a trance state, though. I think a trance state is more of just like being in tune, not in tune. How do I want to say it? It's like meditating, right? Like you're still conscious when you're meditating, but you've entered a different sort of trance-like state where you've filtered out a lot of the external stimulus and you're really focused like more internal.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, then there's physical mediumship, and apparently this is kind of one of your rare ones. Okay, so this would be when there's changes in physical environment that occur by communication. So the spirit and medium work together to form physical things that are happening, like a physical phenomenon. So you might get hot or cold spots. Apparitions might start to appear. Objects could move, or automatic writing, levitation, smoke, the smoke that you see in the pictures. When you take pictures and you see that smoke.
That spiritualist seance session.
Yes. And ectoplasm, like you're going to sweat all over your stuff. Okay.
I'm going to make somebody a great physical medium one day.
So apparently that's your rare type of mediumship. And then, or one of the rare ones. So then there's direct voice mediumship. And this is also considered kind of rare. And this is where highly trained trance mediums would hold a seance and their voices would be heard. So they would often use, this is so crazy. They would often use like a trumpet, which it's not a real trumpet, but it's a cone of paper, like thick paper that they would cone. And then that would amplify the sounds.
Yeah, the good old spirit trumpets.
Yeah. So this was really popular in the 1850s around the spiritualist movement.
Yep.
So that's not really a thing anymore, I don't think. I don't know.
I think there's people who still probably practice spiritualism in the way, but I think spiritualism got so convoluted with fakes that they tend to stay away from using that phrase.
So then there's channeling, and this is described as the blending of someone here on Earth, the Earth plane, with a divine being, energy, or spirit guide. So when you're open to channeling, you're opening up to a higher power of influence. And this is when you connect with only like one spirit at a time.
Okay.
So you might have your spirit guide that you channel, and your spirit guide is the one that's giving you the information from whatever else.
Gotcha.
Which that's kind of cool. Like just to have like your one voice that's just like, don't bother with this. Well, I'll tell you what they're saying.
That's similar to the medium we saw, Tim Shaw.
Correct.
Or was it Tim or Exie?
It was Exie. Hers was, what the hell was her?
I can't remember her spirit guide's
it was so cute
name,
too.
But he kind of shows her the signs of the family members who are trying to come through. So he's helping like channel them. I wonder if it's almost like their stronger spirit helping a weaker spirit come through.
Oh, possibly. And then there's, this is where we kind of get into, I think, what maybe you and I think of when we think of mediums, since we've started this podcast, I'd say. So spiritual mediumship, which is, like I said, is kind of like the most common. So this is reception and delivery of messages from a spirit. This is kind of like channeling, but not with just one spirit. So spiritual mediumship messages are received using clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, I cannot say that word, and clairsentience. So I feel like we've talked a lot about those. So that would be your spiritual. Yeah.
You have to stop before you move any further. Kara just said 4 really big, hard words for her without messing a single one of them up. I was ready at any point, like usual, to jump in there and correct. Fucking good job.
I hate you. Okay. So,
hey, give credit where it's due.
Thank you. We've talked a lot about that, especially on the episode with Adam. We kind of delved into a little bit of that. So I feel like that's like the most common, right? So let's break that down a little further.
Let's do it. I feel like I need to start like a graph for all of this.
We do. So clairaudience is clear hearing.
Okay, so in all these cases, is clair just a different word for clear?
Yeah.
Wow, that makes it way easier to understand.
I know. So it basically means clear hearing. So they hear messages audibly or inside their mind, mostly telepathically.
Okay.
So when you break it down like that, like you just said, that's so easy. So signs that you might be clairaudient are you're a listener, not a talker. Obviously, maybe receiving telepathic messages, ringing or buzzing in your ears, or you find yourself immediately forgetting advice or wisdom you've given somebody. Like, so you've just given it and you forgot completely, or you're wondering where it even came from. Because it's probably coming.
Okay.
It's, you know what I mean? Like it's telepathically coming to you.
Yeah, you're channeling it from.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Interesting.
Which, this is so strange because I tell you this all the time. When we record, I 100% forget everything. And when I listen back, I'm like, I don't even know where that came from.
Okay. So funny story on that. I was listening to a podcast about podcasts the other day. And this one person was saying how they have to like take notes as they go through things because the second they hit end on recording, they don't remember anything. I'm like, oh my God, it's not just us. I meant to
Thank
tell
God,
you.
because I'm like literally like, I don't remember what we recorded last week. It's so bad. And it's wild because I don't even remember the information that I've given you. It's not even like what you've given me. I don't remember anything. It's wild.
I think we're just so focused when we do it.
I think so too. Okay, so that's clairaudience. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. So seeing images in your mind, precognition dreams. So you're seeing stuff in your dreams and then it's coming true after. And then signs that you might be clairvoyant are active dreams. You're imaginative or a daydreamer. You're a very visual person. You see colors, shapes, objects when you close your eyes to sleep or meditate. Those are signs that you might be clairvoyant.
And I feel like this is kind of like the typical medium that you always see, right? Most of them will claim to be or show signs of being that like clairvoyant.
Yep. Okay. And then claircognizance is clear knowing. So this is basically the ability to just know information and knowledge. Not sure where it came from. You just know things and you know it's 100% correct. So signs of this might be you're always thinking and the ability to know that you're being told the truth or lie. Like you just know, nah, that's not the truth, which dang, I'd love to have that. Well, I feel like I'm pretty good at that, but to just like really know somebody's lying to you or receiving answers you needed out of nowhere. So maybe you thought of, I don't know, a random thing and then like randomly the answer just appears to you.
You might answer this later, but would deja vu be considered claircognizance?
I don't know. That's a really good question. That never came up in any of this.
When you were saying that, right, my mind kind of goes back to when we had the chance to have that conversation with Tim Shaw, who is, if I'm remembering right, I think more of a trance medium. Could be wrong. And I'm so sorry if I didn't get it right, but he was saying that everyone does have some sort of psychic ability, right? So would that mean that deja vu?
Well, I think deja vu definitely is a sign of like being some sort of medium or psychic, but I guess I don't know which it qualifies category. That never came up. That's a really good point. We're going to have to look that up. Or if somebody knows, actually. I don't want to look it up. Y'all look it up. Tell me.
We're tired of looking it up. We look up everything.
So then clairsentience is clear feeling. And Adam kind of went over this in his episode, but basically feel and sense emotions of people, animals, spirits, and places, which just completely makes sense, feeling. So
Right.
Signs that you might be clairsentient is high sensitive with surroundings or vibes. So you're just really sensitive with that kind of stuff. Emotional and physical reactions in large crowds. You're empathic. You feel spirit presence or odd feelings around you, or when you're around a spirit, you can feel people's pain, sometimes in specific spots of their body, and smell and taste presence of the spirit world, which I thought was really interesting. So you might be able to smell or even taste things when you're kind of like near spirit.
The smell I get. I don't want to be tasting spirits.
No, that kind of freaked me out when I read that. But then I'm like, okay, what if it's like your, I don't know, grandma's around and then you like taste grandma's cookies? Then I'm okay with it.
I'm so glad you said cookies afterwards because I never want to taste grandma.
No, I don't want to taste grandma, but you know what I mean. Like you could smell and taste grandma's cookies.
All right.
Otherwise, it's really gross. So those are kind of going through each of the spiritual mediumship categories and what it would be, I guess, signs if you were each of one of those.
Yeah, I guess because like without any of that knowledge, you just kind of think like a medium experiences it all, right? Like it's kind of surprising to know that there's different types of it.
I know. And there's literally so many more categories that you can really like offshoot to. It was getting crazy and I was like, I'm not doing all of this. But now we can move on because sometimes tools are used to help the process along. So here are some tools often used by psychics and mediums. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So angel cards, which are really just oracle cards. So using angel guides to lead you. Do you have an oracle deck?
I don't have an oracle deck. I'm still...
Okay, so Chelsea just bought one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm still trying to learn tarot, though, but I feel like tarot still kind of falls into the same.
It kind of does, but I think, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is that I think that's why it was so cool to make your own oracle deck, because it's so personal to you and it makes sense. So like people you look up to, like inspirations, things like that. So you're pulling a card of Like if I pull the Zach card, it could mean amazing friendship and love and whatever, blah, 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 you know, and you could put a picture of Zach on it and then all of the description. We're making our own deck. Okay. So another one is crystal balls. So mostly psychics use these and kind of like in movies, most likely, but you can stare deeply into a ball of crystal after asking a question and try and decipher the shapes and images you see. Do people use crystal balls anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I also think that there's almost a resurgence in that as a divination tool. Look at like, we just bought black mirrors, right?
Okay.
So,
moving on. Dowsing rods. The rod. So here, let me just skip all the way down. Okay. Scrying mirrors.
Oh, okay. No, I see why you're.
I'm just kidding. I should have done that next, to be honest. Okay.
Back to the dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods. So the rods will cross like an X if you are near an area where a spirit is strong. But you can also use them to get a yes or no answer by paying attention to the crossing and uncrossing of the rods.
Okay.
You can kind of pick, is one yes and one no, or you can kind of say cross for yes, open for no. I didn't see a definite answer.
I honestly think so much of that, I think the answer is they're manipulated by energy, right?
They
so
are.
Whether that's your own personal energy in the way you're channeling things, or it's spirit energy, or it's, I was going to say, a lot of people use them across like ley lines, right? They'll cross when you're going over ley lines. So I think it's any sort of manipulation of energy. So depending on the session you're doing, you could kind of give it a different distinct meaning.
Yeah. Obviously, Ouija boards. We have a full episode on these bad boys, so I'm not going into them. Pendulums. So usually a stone or crystal in a conical shape. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. You're killing it.
That's attached to a chain, which we also bought those not that long ago. So you hover over a piece of paper or a board that has a yes or no written on it. You concentrate on your question and let the pendulum swings guide you. Which, have you used our new little boards we just got?
Yeah. Yep.
I haven't used
I did a session with it last week, and which is really, can I give a little personal story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you and I have kind of collected some tools over the last couple of years, more specifically the last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where between the dowsing rods or the scrying mirror, I haven't gotten many results, but every time I use the pendulum,
it works.
It seems to work. Now, what was interesting is when I first started using it, right, I would say a yes answer would be spinning clockwise and no answer would be spinning counterclockwise. So I was really interested when I got the plate, because yes and no, then it would be having to swing in a straight line, right? So I thought like I would still either get the circles or whatever, but it actually started acting in accordance with the plate that we bought.
Well, because so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's yes, and then a cross is also yes. So it's yes in a straight line, no
so
in a straight line.
Instead of swinging in a circle for yes like it was before, now it starts going in a straight line.
Interesting.
But it's the one tool that seems to constantly work for me.
Well, and I remember when we first got those, it instantly worked for you, where I don't think mine was kind of like, also I was just really fucking tired, but yours like instantly was like,
I think I just got
vibing.
I got a good pendulum.
You did. Shout out to Lauren. Those were from Lauren, weren't they? Yeah, they were from Lauren. Okay, so then the next one is runes, which you have some. And these are symbols printed on small stones. A rune is a Scandinavian meaning for communication. You can have them in a pouch, ask a question, pour them out, and then the runes that are faced up will give you your answer. Have you played with yours anymore? I shouldn't say played, worked with yours anymore.
I have put those on the back burner a little bit.
So much
and the reason being is the pendulum makes sense to me and tarot cards make a lot of sense to me. The meanings of the runes to the questions I'm asking, even with a guide, isn't really resonating with me well enough, where it's one, I'm not educated enough. Yeah. And two, I don't think I'm like in tune with them as much as I am some of the other tools.
Yeah. I did read when I was doing this research part for the runes is that it pretty much everything did say like you kind of have to have the guide with you. Like you're not, I mean, I'm sure people have them all memorized, but like you kind of just always need to reference that guide, which I'm sure a lot of people do for everything. But I think for you, that kind of takes away from it, because you, like with tarot cards, you're really good at like, you've been trying to like know what each one is. so that you just have it in your head what to relate to.
And I think the difference is for somebody who's a novice, total beginner like me, right? Where if I don't quite totally get the tarot card based on it being the ace of, whatever suit, you can look into the artwork and really still get a clear picture of what it is. Where with the runes, if you don't have a innate or not even an innate or learned knowledge of what those specific stones mean, you can't intuitively pull it out either.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I get stuck.
I think you're just like tarot cards they overwhelm me. Maybe I would
spend a lot of time.
I know, maybe I would be better at runes because tarot cards just overwhelm me. I want so bad to I've been trying every day pulling a card and kind of okay, what's my day going to be like? And pull a card and read what it is and relate it to whatever I felt. I've been trying, but they do overwhelm me. Okay, so then we have scrying mirrors, which you were kind of talking about. So the ancient art of using reflective surfaces. We also have the Bloody Mary episode, which dives into everything about mirrors. So I'm going to let y'all go listen to that if you haven't. And that's still my favorite episode I've done so far.
In case you're wondering and don't want to do all the work, that is episode number 3, way early on.
Mm-hmm. And then the Ouija board episode was our Halloween special for last year.
Episode number 5.
Thank you. Okay, and then our last one, there are so many more, but our last one would be tarot cards, which we also have another episode all about that. But you could give a brief description if you'd like.
Sure. So they are a kind of modified deck of playing cards with 22 extra cards slotted in there that you're supposed to use kind of the prescribed meaning and your intuition to come up with answers to a question as you shuffle and pull them out of a deck in all sorts of different spreads, but the most common being the 3-card spread.
Beautiful.
You're welcome. And I just pulled that out of my ass.
You did. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
I'm proud of me.
I knew you could do it.
And just for consistency's sake, that is episode 51. If you want to go back and listen, I'm gonna keep plugging.
I love it. Okay, so now that we went through all of those, every little category, and like I said, there's so much more. What do you think that you identify the closest with?
Okay. So I don't want to say that I am a medium, but I want to go back to that conversation we had with Tim Shaw, where everybody does have some sort of psychic abilities.
One of my last sentences was literally when we talked to Tim Shaw, he told us that everybody has the ability. It's just a matter if you believe and if you want to tap in. And I've always thought that in some way everybody has it.
It's like anything, right? Like everybody has biceps. But those who train their biceps have really big, really powerful biceps, right? And I think it works similar to that. From somebody who has no biceps. But I think what kind of speaks the most to me is that clairsentience, right? Is that
the
feeling or picking up on things, or that sometimes the giving the advice, right? Or for me, I even think of most of the experiences that I've had with spirit is, especially as I've gotten older, it's less of seeing, but more of just knowing.
Yep.
I think we talked in the personal episode where my spirit guides warned me about that car accident. I didn't hear it out loud, but I felt and heard in my head that voice.
So then you're probably a little bit of a combination of both, because just the knowing aspect would be the claircognizance. Now I can't say it.
Cognizance.
Thank you. So kind of, and see, that's why I was I don't know.
Maybe it's somewhere a mix between the two of just the experiences that I've had. Once again, not saying I'm a medium in any ways, but because I do have a lot of the deja vu, and I'm finding though is now that I've been working with the tarot cards and the pendulum and that, those, I don't know if it's that I'm trusting my intuition more or getting more in tune with it, but it seems to be working a little bit better.
It's probably both. So it's a combination of both. And to be clear, the spiritual mediumship, I think that you kind of can have all of the clairs to an extent, but people probably have a stronger
one that really stands out.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I mean, all the other ones, I wouldn't say I wish I could be an animal communicator. I feel like I am to an extent. I talk to animals all the damn time, but they
just might not talk back to you.
Delilah talks to me. So again, kind of just what we're talking about. I had put in here too the Tim Shaw thing, which is funny that you brought that up because he was just so adamant. It was so nonchalant. No, everybody can do this. And it was shocking to both of us. Even though I felt that, you were just what? like, oh, okay. Like, he's like, no, for real, everyone can do this. Just believe in it. Believe in yourself. You got to tap into it. You got to train yourself, like you just said, like a muscle. Train your abilities if you want.
No, just like anybody else, right? For certain people, putting muscle on is a lot easier than others. I think there's a lot more people who are born with that innate ability. Or I guess if it's innate in everyone, right? They're born with that ability being stronger.
Yeah. Or just, it's just like anything. Some things come easier. So it might not come as easy to you. So again, a lot of my resources I used have way more detail and ideas and all this stuff on how to tap into your mediumship and how to start, where to go, things like that. So I do recommend going to our show notes and clicking all the links because there's a bunch of them. Watch YouTube videos, things like that. I do recommend, at least if you're looking stuff up, actually for anything, make sure you don't go off of the first article. Get like a couple that say like kind of around the same thing, especially with this kind of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get...
I'm going to say it this way. If Kara is telling you to be skeptical a little bit, be careful about what you're clicking on. Because I feel like in this field, there are a lot of people who will...
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of people who are very legitimate, but there's also a lot of people who are looking to make a quick cash grab.
Correct. So live by the rule of Dana Newkirk. She says, read 2 things and listen to 1 thing. If they all align, it's probably true. Or maybe it was the opposite. Listen to 2. And I think it was read 2 and then listen to 1. But it could be the other way around. But either way, get like 3 sources that say like the same thing before you go on it. And again, this might not all resonate. And if you are a medium or you know a medium, this might not all be factual for them. I feel like just like humans, we're all fucking different. Mediums are all different. They might not even align into any of these. That's okay.
I think the coolest parts about what you bring up, right, is that it's not just you're a medium or not, right? There's all these different types of skills and everything that go into it. So people trying to debunk one type of medium or, a medium, right, might be debunking a skill they're not good at, but not highlighting the other. I think it's one of those things where there's just not enough not enough accepted science.
There you go.
To give an explanation of what's happening. But when you start to like peer behind just the word medium, as Kara's, taught us over the last 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, is there's a lot of different types on how it can manifest.
And I don't know, I just think it's really cool because obviously, like I said, in my mind, when I hear the word medium, I just think of somebody that talks to dead people or spirits, whatever. Obviously, I know that there's more to that, but that's just like the general, like, blah. But now I'm like, wait, no, if somebody were to tell me that they're medium, I'd be like, okay, well, like, how? Like, what are your specialties? Like, tell me, like, what do you identify with? Like, I want to know now how you do your mediumship.
And if somebody were to tell me they're medium, if they were wearing something cute, I could say, wow, we can share clothes. I'm doubling down on the pun. I'm sorry. It's too late now.
At first, I really didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, ghost outfit? What? I was so confused for a minute. And then I was like, oh my God, you dad joker.
They just pour out of me at this point.
Well, that is all that I have on mediums. Like I said, I could keep going, but we'd be here
I feel
all
like
day.
you and me are so interested in this. We could be here for hours.
We really could, and we could keep going. And honestly, I could have like deep dived a little bit more on each category, but I kind of wanted to leave it to you guys to kind of look up what you thought you were more interested in and deep dive and like tap into like your feelings and senses and things like that. Like, I didn't want to like go too much into it because I think it's kind of fun to not know everything. You know what I mean?
To give a basis for you to do your own research.
No, but I think that's kind of fun because every time I listen to something where I'm like, ooh, I want to know more about it. Like, I like looking up stuff after I've gotten like a tidbit about it, you know? Anyway, I'm going back to my call to action. Any mediums that listen, anybody, if you know a medium or you've, I don't know, experienced anything like this, write into us, let us know.
And I'll go a little bit further on that, even if you're not somebody who describes themselves as medium, but if you've had experiences that sort of fit into these categories,
let us
definitely tell us too, because I feel like you and I have become believers of the fact that everyone has a psychic skill to an extent, and
we want to know yours.
Cool. Good job, dude. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Well, I guess we can let you go. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate you.
As always, subscribe to us, like us on social media, drop us a review or a rating, depending on what podcast listener you're on.
Yeah. Email us what you want to hear. Give us ideas because we have a list.
We still need ideas.
We would love to hear what you want to talk about. Yeah, absolutely. So do all those things. We really appreciate you. But most importantly, creep it real, yeah, balls.
Goodbye.
Bye.